YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, everybody. I'm so excited to have you all back together again, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing the Ted franchise. This past week, the Ted series on Peacock came out on Peacock, and this was actually a series I was really looking forward to, and fun fact, this is also the first start, this is kind of the second step in my journey to watching more TV shows this year. So first show was Echo, now it's Ted, and hopefully we'll watch another show in the next few weeks or so. But I finally watched the Ted series, and I thought it would be a good time to rank the Ted franchise, Ted 1, Ted 2, and the new Ted series. Let's go and get started. Now, to be clear, I don't think any of these films and shows are bad, but something had to come in last, and I think Ted 2 is a very enjoyable sequel. It, of course, has more of what you loved about the first film, with the raunchy humor. The banter between John and Ted is funny as ever. Them smoking pot from a dick thing, or them finding a whole pack of weed, a whole field of weeds. There's obviously a lot of fun things that they do with this movie, and then I love the Comic-Con scene. All of that stuff was fun. It was kind of weird that we didn't get to have Lori back in this one. I understand because, she was pregnant at the time, so she couldn't make it. Though it kind of felt sad that they had to get divorced. But then we get the addition of Samantha with this girl that was from Mean Girls. She's actually very fun in this film, as she can smoke pot but doesn't know a thing about pop culture, which is absolutely hilarious, as she gets every pop culture reference wrong in this movie. The starship from Star Wars or Star Trek or whatever, it is hilarious. And I also like the way that it actually kind of focused on, I think there was an interesting story there with Ted, as basically the first film ended with Ted and Lori getting married. Now this film was all about Ted and Tammy Lynn's marriage. It starts out pretty bad. They decided they want to make it better by having a baby. Realized they can't do it because of Tammy Lynn's overuse of drugs. So now they have to do adoption, but that won't work because not only of Tammy Lynn's drug history, but also Ted is legally not a person. And I think that was an interesting story. I think there's a lot of elements that actually can work by that. But it's almost like, why is this technically coming up now? In the way John said in the movie, why is this all coming up now? And one part that I want to make, how exactly was he able to go on a show? How was he able to get run over by the cops? Yet this guy's still able to allow him to do all this stuff. He's still able to work. How's he able to do all this stuff? Yet when he wants a kid, he's not considered a person. And his marriage doesn't really count with Tammy Lynn. And he has to press on his chest. Honestly, I like the way they use the drama in this movie, but that's where I feel like this movie is flawed for me, because it doesn't really make sense. Because he's been doing all this type of stuff for years, since 1985, and that's now 30 years later, and yet he wants to have a kid with his wife, but he can't adopt a kid because he's not a person. You can go on a TV show, you can go on a Saturday Night Live show, you can go on this, you can go on that, you can get caught with the cops, you can do all this, you can host parties, or whatever, but you want to have a kid, you can't, because you're now legally not a person. What? You can't, what? It does not make any sense. So, and also, if they wanted to do that, why couldn't the doctor at the office there, why couldn't any of these people tell him that he's not a person legally there? Like, what? The Geico one, why couldn't they tell him that at first? I don't know. But anyway, it's still a fun sequel, still really enjoy it, but the story itself there is a little bit frustrating. So, I finally just finished the Ted series, and I absolutely loved this series. For me, easily one of the best shows I've watched in 2023. Honestly, besides movies, which aren't really being good right now, because January's not famous for that, 2024, wait, did I say 2023? I'm sorry. I meant 2024. 2024 is actually being pretty good for TV shows. I watched Echo plus this, and this is a great series. It basically is what you would expect from a Ted series, starring young John Bennett and Ted doing shenanigans, but creating the origins of what they came to be when you watch the first two Ted films. And likewise, it also manages to be like this little, like adulterated sitcom that's like a little mini series of Family Guy episodes. Like, it feels like that Family Guy stuff, but it's in a sitcom, and so it's like almost like 50, 40, 30 minutes, and it works. And it's only 7 episodes, and it absolutely works. And like they found each episode fits its runtime. I don't feel like it needs to be like shorter. I didn't think it needed to be longer. It fit the pace of the episode because the way that they crafted the story was actually really well done. Likewise, like the Ted films, they actually found a way to make this emotion to make it somewhat heartfelt. Still absolutely hilarious since we're in the 90s, so we get to have so much fun with that, them smoking pot for the first time, them getting drugs, them wanting to have sexual intercourse, watch adult movies. I'm not gonna say it because it's on YouTube. All the fun stuff of the Ted films and the way they crafted that origins, but they also found a way to tell certain episodes of stories with John's family. Like, all the characters, like, you have his mom and dad, and then you have this other character, their cousin, Blair, which to me was a very solid character in this show, that she surprised me. I thought, like, she was just a bitchy-ass cousin, like, why is she here? But she actually works in this series, and it's really crazy because her character feels so realistic from the first episode as she's selling drugs. And Ted and John, like, they actually give Ted and John a very realistic thing in this show that I'm like, it's kind of crazy that they were actually, like, good people back then, and it was actually pretty cool. And, like, even throughout the whole show, like, they owe them back, they owe her back, like, it's a great relationship there. And I really enjoyed that stuff, especially since, like, you learn about what's going on, why she's there. It makes her a very humane character that I really enjoyed about it. And then even, like, the dad, which at first I'm like, is this how he's going to be throughout the entire show? But yet they still find a way and manage to make him somewhat human, but still make him enjoyable to watch as he says some of these funny lines. And my favorite episode of this series, probably the Christmas episode, as his talking toy car comes to life, and he starts to realize a lot of stuff since he realizes her niece was gay, and his toy car is now gay after only being 3 days alive. So it's like, that's pretty crazy, and he actually learned something with him. And then even the mother, I thought, had some good stuff in here too. She's the most innocent of the show. I really enjoyed her, and overall, it was just a great series. The way that it focused on the characters, the length of the episodes. Honestly, the only complaint I have is I want to see more. However, some of the jokes didn't necessarily land for me. I feel like some jokes that I probably didn't get. Maybe it's just because I'm still young. Then also, once again, the 90 references, going to see Jurassic Park for the first time, watching The Price is Right, all that stuff was great. This is a great series. I love Ted, and yeah, it's a great series. First Ted easily comes in at number 1. Honestly, this is a fantastic film. I love this movie. What makes this movie so great is that it's just the classic premise that has been with us for almost 12 years. Basically 12 years, actually. As it's from the creator of Family Guy. Basically makes this story about a boy who wishes upon a star and wishes for his magical toy bear that he got for Christmas to come alive. And with the style of with having that Family Guy humor, but also a realistic story, it's able to mesh so well. As you basically have this talking teddy bear and Mark Wahlberg talking, smoking pot, and watching Flash Gordon. And you never thought that would be so enjoyable, but it works so well. And having all this adulterated comedy, this Family Guy comedy, it's so good. And while the comedy is good, while the relationship is there, that it's good, they also found a way to actually tell like this interesting, emotional story to where this guy who did not have any friends growing up when he was a kid, he has a girlfriend, and she wants to continue on with their life, but Ted's always around, so it's like she kind of has an issue about that, but Ted is like his only friend, and so John is like kind of conflicted as to what he wants to do, and it creates conflict that you can't. He's like, because he's been his only friend for years, it's hard to let go of that and stuff like that. And I think it's an interesting concept that like you're 35 years old and you're still scared of the dark, scared of the thunder with a teddy bear. And then of course you have the creepy psychopath who wants him because his father, but I don't even care about that guy. But yeah, it was just hilarious. It found a way to find the perfect match of comedy, emotion, a pretty good story. But because it's from Family Guy, it's able to work. And honestly, this movie, all the jokes I pretty much understand, but some of them can actually be stupid, but I can still understand them because they're so stupid. For me, this is the perfect film that kicked this whole thing off. And even Family Guy, the show itself, I absolutely love. So that is my ranking of all the Ted franchise stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media stuff is in the about section over there. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.